What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? In today's video, we're going to answer this data lemur question with this extremely long question. So we have to read almost an essay to understand the question before starting the solution. And yeah, let's just get started on it right now. So this is a hard data lemur question. It is advertiser status. The title is advertiser status, and it is apparently a Facebook SQL interview question, but you never know. I mean, you never know. So let's just jump into it. So you're provided with two tables: the advertiser table containing information about the advertisers and their respective payment status, and the daily pay table containing the current payment information for the advertiser, and it only includes advertisers who have made payments. Okay. Write a query to update the payment status of the Facebook advertisers based on the information in the daily pay table. The output should include the user ID and their current payment status sorted by the user ID. So we're going to have to use an order by. The payment status of an advertiser can be classified into the following categories: new advertisers who are newly registered and have made their first payment, existing advertisers who have made payments in the past and have recently made a current payment, churn advertisers who have made payments in the past but have not made any recent payment, resurrect advertisers who have not made a recent payment but may have made a previous payment and have made a payment again recently. Before proceeding with the question, it's important to understand the possible transitions in the advertiser status based on the payment status. The following table provides a summary of these transitions. Okay, so I recommend just pause and read this table because we are going to need this table to answer the question, and that's also what I'm going to do. Okay, so once you've paused and read the table along with me, we can proceed. So essentially this is just restating everything up here, so we don't need to read that. So the advertiser table has a user ID and the current status. And this is an example: Bing, Yahoo, Alibaba. The daily pay has a user ID and their current payment, so their most recent payment. So Yahoo, they paid $45. Now what we want is the new status of these advertisers. So let's start with Bing. So before we do this, I'm actually going to show the entire data set, the entire table, I mean, for this. Okay, so we have Bing here. They're new. They haven't made a payment because they're not shown here. And if you have not made a payment and your current status is new, your current status will change to churn. So it's churned. So Yahoo is new and Yahoo has made a payment. And if you're new and you've made a payment, your current status will be existing. And that's what it is. Alibaba is existing and they've made a payment, and then their current status will be existing. And that's what it is. Okay, awesome. Now that we understand this, we can proceed to answer the question. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to view both of the data sets. So once we viewed daily sales, so there's Yahoo, Alibaba, Target, Morgan, Fit data. Now let's also view advertiser. So there's all of these, right? And we can remember Bing isn't listed on that other table. So Bing isn't listed there. Chase was listed, I'm pretty sure, but what we don't have listed here is Fit data. So let me show you guys what I mean. So Fit data. So Fit data isn't listed there on the advertiser table. So what this tells us is we're gonna have to join these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna join them first. Advertiser A, and then we're gonna do a full outer join because we want all of the values, even if it's a null. So yeah, that's gonna be very important. So we're gonna do that. Daily pay, and then BD, dot user underscore ID equals d dot user underscore ID. Okay, there we go. So we have the user ID here, the user ID down here. Now I want you guys to pay attention to something, right? A dot user underscore ID, comma, d dot user underscore ID. So you see how everything here, right? There's a lot of null values on the data pay, and that just means this advertiser has not paid has not paid recently. But we also see something when we scroll down. We see fit data here and we see a null value here. So what we need to do is move this fit data down here. And the way we're going to do this is use a case when statement. Okay, so first things first, we have this listed. Now I'm also going to list the status, and then I'm also going to list the pay. I believe that's the name. Yeah, paid. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to do a case when statement, as I mentioned earlier, comma, case when a dot user underscore ID is not null, then a dot user underscore ID. So if it's not null, we'll just use that whatever value is in that specific cell. Then when a dot user underscore ID is null, then it'll go to d dot user underscore ID, and then else null and as user underscore ID. So what this means is when a dot user ID underscore is not null, so in this case it'll use a dot user underscore ID, so it'll just be Bing. Now when a dot user underscore ID is null, it'll use this one, so it'll grab it from the data pay and add it. So that's what we're going to do. And then now what we're going to do is we're just going to do this, and let's execute this query. Here we are. So we have these right here, I believe. Yeah, so it's this one. This one is the case one statement. So now what we can do is we could actually remove these two and then execute it again. So you can see how everything is just in one column, and we also have the status right here. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to actually create another column for the new status. So we have all the information here. All the information that we need is on this table. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a CTE. So as this, and then, all right, so we have this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create some case when statements. So we're going to grab the user underscore ID because we're going to need that, and then we'll do case when. Now when we create these statements, we could look at this. So case when paid is not null, so this means when paid, when there's a value in paid, so when the advertiser is paid, and I think this is status, yeah, when and status in, and we're going to include these values. So okay, so when it's paid and status is in, let's put new, it is existing. So when this is paid and status is existing, it's also existing, so we can include existing. Then when it's paid and it's churn, it's resurrect, so we're not going to include churn. So when it's paid and status is resurrect, it's existing, so we'll include resurrect. Then it'll be existing. Okay, let me explain this, and I'll add the rest of the when statements. So when paid is not null, so that means when it's been paid, and the status equals either new, existing, or resurrect. So new, existing, or resurrect, then it is existing. So that makes sense. So now we're going to do it for the rest. So let's get these. So this one is, we're going to do is null, and status is new, right? Existing, churn, and resurrect, because they all result in churn for the output. So we can include all of them. So new, existing, resurrect, and we'll do churn. There we go. That's great. Awesome. Now, the next step is for this one. So we'll include that. So when paid is not null and status in churn, then it'll be resurrect. Okay, great. Now one other one we're forgetting is for a completely new account. So fit data doesn't have a current status, right? Now when you read this, new, advertisers who are newly registered and have made their first payment. So these have made their first payment and they're newly registered. Now this has fit data has made its first payment, but it has not yet been registered as new. So we have to account for that. So we're gonna do when status is null and paid is not null, then it'll be new. Then else null and as new status. Okay, that looks good. Great. Okay, and then now the last thing is they said order by user underscore ID. And they wanted us, I mean, we don't even need to write ascending. It automatically makes it ascending. So here we are. So let's actually submit and let's go to submission. So it's been accepted, and then we could see everything aligns perfectly. So that's how you answer this question. I hope this video isn't too long, and I hope you guys understand how to answer it. And if you guys have any questions, put it in the comments and I'd love to respond. Thanks for watching.